Hello, this is Teresa with High Mesa Standards. We are out enjoying a beautiful sunny day on the acreage out here. This is a hay field. This is the first attempt at letting the dogs run. This is Pierce, who is soon to be named Breckenridge. He's a sweet dog, full of energy, and has a hard time with self-control. And then we have his daughter right there. That's Ramie, her Ranboo. We're gonna keep Ramie. She seems to like that okay. She's a shy dog with low energy, and she's insecure, very insecure, but she's still a puppy. She's only a year old. As her dad, that one there, is 3. So he's got more confidence, and he was the alpha male in his pack at his other home. So he's had a lot of, socialization with dogs, mostly, I think. And he definitely speaks dog. So now we're teaching him how to speak English and speak human. And then we have our brown tuxedo male. His name is Cash, and he's soon to be Ridgeway. So we're going to call him Ridge instead of Cash. And that goes along with I'm going to keep him for our program. And I'm keeping Breckenridge. I've been calling him all these other names. So Breckenridge, we're going to keep him for our program as well, because he adds a shorter loin. He adds some angulation. What are you doing, buddy? He adds very healthy genes. So we're excited about that. The baby girl is going to go. We are homing her to a home who's been waiting for one of our puppies, and our breedings just have not turned out like we were hoping. So there's Rose. She was the one that we bred. We AI bred her. It didn't take. We were so excited for that breeding, and it was going to be a category 10 diversity breeding, and it just didn't make it. And so now we had to move on with a different part of our program. We will be adding him to our program as soon as we get his diversity testing. Probably not for this breeding. This next heat that Rose goes in, we have somebody set up to possibly breed with her. I thought we did, but we might not now, so we'll see. But we'll see how long it takes my diversity testing to come back and what it tests out as. For all of you that don't know, diversity testing tests a whole pool of poodle genetics, and they will actually give you a test breeding with the male and the female that you're hoping to use, and let you know how well they pair. So they give you a number rating amongst a lot of other numbers that would just be confusing to you, but they give you a rating of 1 to 10 of what their category breeding would be and how diverse they are, which is what you're really looking for to ward off genetic issues and autoimmune disorders and so on and so forth. Now, scientifically, I have not actually studied the science on how accurate that is or anything like that, but I figure it can't hurt, and I haven't had the time to actually go through, and so I'm not vouching for this to anybody. I'm just saying that this is what I'm doing right now, and until I find out differently, I feel like it's a good choice to diverse test. Hey, come back this way. Ramie, come. She's gotten into the neighbor's yard. I'm going to call her back. Let's go. Hurry up. Ramie, come. Come. Good girl. Let's go. Come on. We're not going that direction. Bring her back in through the fence. Yep, let's go this way. And then I'm going to pull this way so that they follow me. So we do the follow me game. Remember, if you've seen some of my other videos, we do the follow me game when they're little, so that if I veer off a different way than where they're going, they notice it right away. She has not had the follow me game. So this is actually her first time of me trusting her off leash on land, that she could just run away. I mean, look, she could just run away. But In training, I take my seasoned, well-behaved dogs. So Rose is one of those. And Breezy is my foundation bitch, and she is extremely loyal. And these two will show these three, the other three, the ropes of how you stay with the leader. And I'm the leader. So if you have not established with your pack that you are the leader, then they don't see you as the leader and they will follow the leader. So whichever dominant dog, it could be an alpha female, it could be an alpha male, and don't let anybody tell you that alphas do not exist and that they've proven that wrong. I've been training for 40 years and there definitely is alpha female and alpha male. So don't let them tell you that that's not a thing. As a matter of fact, our alpha male right now is marking his alpha territory and making sure that everybody knows that this is his section right here. So my alpha female is not an aggressive alpha. She just is an alpha, and that's my foundation bitch. And the reason that she is the alpha is because she's been here longer than the rest, and they do respect that a lot of times. Now this one, he is very strong-headed, and he is alpha for sure, but not over my foundation bitch. Isn't that interesting? Because she was here first, so he is bowing to her. But as far as being the male, he knows he's top dog. So we want to curve that a little bit because they need to learn how to live in a human world. And in the human world, I'm the top dog to all my dogs. So I'm establishing who the alpha is in our pack. I'm part of their pack, or I should say they're part of my pack. And so I'm establishing by commanding and by upholding my commands, I'm establishing that they have to mind me. When they don't mind me, then there's correction, and they understand it as correction because poodles especially do not like to be corrected. They're like, don't yell at me, don't poke me in the ribs, don't give me the growl, don't do that. They don't like that. So if you insist on doing that with them and you don't back off when they ignore you or whatever they do, some of them will walk away and just totally ignore you because that's poodle aloofness. When they do that and you don't correct that and you don't keep expecting them, then they've won. So I'm establishing by taking them with me and making them follow me that I'm their leader. And whenever they get off on a tangent of going too far away, which they haven't yet, then I'm going to make them come back and yell and scream at them. See, my two, they're staying pretty close to me. Those two are getting far away, and those are the males. Oh no, that one's a female. When we picked these three up, that one there, she got off the leash way up in the mountains. She pulled off the clip, the clasp, and that was my fault. I should have checked that before I put her on that, knowing that she was a flight risk. I should have checked that, but I didn't, and I pulled her out of the car and her leash popped off, the clasp did, and she ran away. And we were up in Silverthorne, Colorado, up in the mountains, and I was so worried that we were not going to get her back. She was scared to death of me. She didn't know me, so she didn't trust me. And when I called her, she'd run the other way, actually. Luckily, she hadn't been fed because we were traveling in the car and we didn't want her to be throwing up everywhere. So I usually take them off food about 4 hours before travel. So she was getting pretty hungry because it was evening. Thankfully, I had a big old box of food, and I just set it down and I just sat there next to the food and waited. And as soon as she came over to eat it, I grabbed her collar and headed back home. I was very thankful because I was very worried that we were not going to catch her. And I've heard those stories before where people have not been able to catch theirs, and they have had all sorts of search and rescue efforts going on to find the dogs, and I ain't got time for that. I just had twin boy grandbabies, and yes, 3 days ago, on the 19th, then I just had another grandbaby boy born. And then with these 3 being here and a lot of training going on, I don't have time for all that kind of nonsense. So I'm thankful that the nonsense didn't happen. And that, yeah. Wow, our ditch is really high. Look at that. The dogs could swim in this ditch without too much danger to their bodies, you know, like being swept away. Because we have, if you go down the ditch just a little bit here, there's a gate, and it's pretty big, and they could just climb back out. And also this area right here, we've kind of bored out for horses to drink, so they could just climb right out of there. But I still don't really want them in the water yet until they are following me good and I can call them out. I don't think at this point I could call them out, so we're not gonna encourage them to get into the water. My 2 poodles, they're not really interested in water. Yeah, and so also I was going to just tell you that my my house, even though I have a lot of land, my attention level is only enough for 3 dogs. I've just decided 3 dogs in my home is fair for them and fair for me, so that I'm not stressed out because I'm not giving them enough attention. So that's why the tuxedo boy will be getting diversity test. He'll be getting his genetics test. He's not even 2 yet, and he'll get his genetics test. If everything goes well with his genetics test and he doesn't have any strikes against him, what I consider strikes, because I don't breed anything that has, I shouldn't say don't. I'm trying not to breed anything that has any strikes against them at all, so that we can just really up our game. Get off of there. Hey, oh, you okay? Don't be rolling in dead bodies, okay? No. So we can just up our game as to the health of our dogs. So we want super healthy dogs. I don't want to have to worry about puppies being ill and, you know, getting them to people who are loving them and then they just die from some disease. That breaks my heart. I can't handle that. So, where was I going with that? Oh, so the brown tuxedo is going to get his genetics testing, and if he's clear for everything, I'm going to try and place him in a home of somebody who wants to show he's got an amazing body, he's got an amazing coat, and his attitude is amazing. He's just a really good dog. So he's fairly quiet, which we like around here. The one I'm keeping, unfortunately, is the Barky. That's why we're calling him Brecky. It's really Barky. But yeah, so Breckenridge, that one, he's got the barking. Gene, hey, off, leave it. Whatever you're eating, stop. Okay, and then, anyways, so if you know of anybody who's in Colorado, who is, I'd like them to be pretty close to me so I can mentor them and show, and we can get him titled. And then if his testing goes good, then maybe we can use him for our program. I don't have browns in my program at this point, but I do have a female that carries brown, and I'm not against it, but my love is silvers. So, and smaller, and he is actually right at the top of smaller. So I don't really, not really sure about that yet. I kind of let God choose those things. So I just leave it up to him and say, okay, God, steer me in the direction that my program is going to benefit the most people and the most dogs. And I trust him. So that's where we're at. And I'm going to keep putting out the training videos. I'm going to start with her because she's going to, we're having somebody come and meet her today that's been waiting and waiting for a puppy. And I'm not producing any right now. So I just thought, she's been so loyal to me and really wanting a puppy and really trusting me that I know what's good for her and her house. So I think she would be really a good fit. She's so loving and sweet. So, yeah, thumbs up to the breeder of her. She's really a sweet girl. She just doesn't have any socialization. She needs to be out with other dogs like this. And then we get her to the stores, get around. She was around babies and little kids today. And yesterday she loves them. So she has no aggression whatsoever. she's going to make a wonderful home pet for somebody. And so the reason that I don't need another female for breeding, and I can't pay enough attention to her, and I don't keep breeding females at other people's houses except my family's, where I can really help them and watch them. But if you watch her walk, she's over-angulated in her back legs. So they come back underneath her. So like with Breezy, you can see her hocks stand straight up and down like this. But in Raimi, her hocks go straight down and then they curve under. I consider that overangulation. I don't love that look. So, and it just looks unstable. Let me see if I can catch that. See how they're curved back around that way? They're not just straight up, they curve. So that's not something that I like to breed. And then she's a little bit long in the loin. Her tail sets low. I mean, she's just got too many strikes against her as far as breeding quality, but she's really a good pet quality. So we're gonna hold on to her. We're gonna let her go to a family that's close so that we can watch her and love her. And she already loves our family. So we're outside of a fence. They have no fence here. None of these fences are keeping them in, and they're staying right with me. And one of the reasons is because I have the foundation girls here. So they know what to do. They know they're not allowed to leave my premise. And if they do, they're going to get really scolded, and they don't like that. There's my sable girl. And she really likes her boyfriend, her new boyfriend. So that's really nice. The other thing I like about him is that he's not humping the girls all the time while they're not in season. I can't stand that. And so I'm not very tolerant over silly things like that. So barking, I'm not tolerant towards that. And some people are, and that's okay. You know, that's fine. But I just am not. So they have a wonderful life here, but I don't give them a lot of freedom just to do whatever the heck they want to do. They have to behave at my house. And that makes for a very sound-minded dog because they know their boundaries and they're happy with that. So, and here we go. We're getting ready to go. So thank you for everything.